Hi, this is Michael, and today I'm going to be reviewing a new espresso machine made by wirsh, W-I-R-S-C-H. This is it right here. Now, I've tested quite a few under $200 espresso machines, and this is, I would say, towards the top of the list. It's very nicely made. It's all stainless steel on the exterior. There's a few pieces of chromed plastic, but by and large, it's mostly stainless steel for the exterior finish, which is really nice. It'll make a single or a double shot. It also has a button here to create steam out of the steam wand, and the steam wand can also deliver hot water for you, so you can make espressos, or you could even use this just to deliver hot water to make a cup of tea if you wanted. But it's an espresso machine, so make espresso, for crying out loud. So let me show you all the details on this. First of all, it has a very nice flat top up here. This is typically what we would call a warming tray. So you can place a couple of espresso cups on the top here, and while you are grinding your beans or doing whatever you're doing in preparation for making your espresso, this will keep your cups a little bit on the warmer side. It's always good to make your espresso into a warmed cup. That way the cup won't cool the espresso before you get to enjoy it. So that's what the top part is for. You don't have to use it, of course. Then we have a row of buttons along the top. The first button on the left is the on-off button. So when you first plug in your machine, these lights are going to blink once and you'll hear a beep, and then the display will go black. So basically your machine is in standby mode at that point. When you push the on-off button on the right, that'll activate the machine, and then the buttons will all light up again. Now, usually what's going to happen if you haven't used the machine for a few hours is the lights will be blinking slowly. And all that means is that is the espresso machine preheating. So you always want to make sure it's preheated before you actually try to use it. Now, it only takes about 40 seconds to preheat because this uses thermoblock technology as opposed to a boiler. And that's one of the reasons I say this is sort of an entry-level espresso machine, because a boiler has a larger tank inside that heats all the water up to the temperature. The thermoblock, on the other hand, is sort of an instantaneous heat. So it only heats the espresso when you need it on demand. It doesn't store hot water. So that is a plus and a minus. The plus is you can get your espresso pretty quick. So once the lights stay steady and stop blinking, that means you're at temperature and you are all ready to start making your espresso. Here are the accessories that are included with the wirsh espresso machine. So first of all, you do get a scoop and a tamper. It's plastic, it's not the best, but it'll get you going. It's a standard 51 millimeter size tamper, so if you wanted to upgrade to a metal tamper, those are readily available. This is the portafilter, and this is what you put either the single basket or the double basket into. There's a spring on the inside, and you simply insert the basket and just push it into place. To remove it, you just sort of pry it up from the edge, and if that's a little difficult for you, you can get like a coin or something, but usually it'll loosen up enough that you can just do it by hand. If you want to make a double shot, then you're going to fill your coffee into the basket, and this is going to hold about 11 grams of coffee. So as I mentioned, you want to use a freshly ground bean, and that's going to give you the best crema, and it'll take about 2 scoops of coffee. So to fill the basket, just get your scoop, fill it up with your freshly ground coffee, and sort of distribute it in there. If the coffee is not totally fresh, you may want to fill it 1 scoop, tamp it down, and then put in a second scoop, and then tamp that down. And basically that just gives you a firmer tamp, and it also allows the pressurized basket to hopefully develop some crema if you're not using the freshest beans. You can use the edge of the scoop just to get the loose coffee off the top, and just make sure you have this firmly tamped down, and ideally you want to have this be level. You want it about 2 millimeters below the top edge, but you want the coffee to be on the same level all the way around and not slanted. So once you think you've got it just right, then you insert it into the espresso machine. So place it with the handle facing to the left, and just insert it into the machine, and then you're going to turn it to the right until it locks in place, and it should be sticking straight out from the machine. Now we are ready to go. So get your cup that you want to put your espresso into. I'm going to use this because it's a graduated measuring cup here, and it'll measure 2.5 shots. We should get just about 2 ounces of espresso out of the machine here. I'm going to plug it in. And as I mentioned previously, when you first plug it in, all the lights are going to light up. You're going to hear a single beep, and then it's in standby mode. So to actually preheat the machine and turn it on, we push the on-off button. These lights are blinking slowly right now. That is preheating. It's going to take about 30 to 40 seconds for those to turn solid, and that's when we are ready to make our espresso. Okay, they've just turned solid. That means they've stopped blinking. So once again, we have the single shot, the double shot, and this is the steam button. I'm going to push the double shot, and we will make our first espresso. So that's the pre-infusion, and that's just going to put hot water into the grounds for a few seconds, and now it has started doing the full extraction. The full extraction ideally should take between 20 and 30 seconds. If it takes any less time than that, then your grounds probably are too coarse and it's letting the water go through too quickly. If it takes longer than 30 seconds, that means your grind is probably too fine and it's preventing the water from going through in a timely fashion. Either situation is not ideal. You want it about 25-second extraction. So we are all done. Here is our shot. Notice it's got a nice amount of crema on it, and these are not even the freshest beans. So to make an Americano, we'll just put this to the side, get our coffee cup, and we're going to go over here to the steam wand, but we're not going to use steam right now. We're just going to make hot water. So all we have to do is push the lever down, and that is going to start pumping hot water into our cup. So there's no hard and fast rule how much water you want to put into your cup. I usually put a little bit more water than espresso, so I've got 2 ounces of espresso. I'll probably put about 3 ounces of water in my cup. When you think you've got enough, just turn it off, and then you can pour your espresso right into your cup. If you wanted to add some warmed milk to that, then you would push the steam button. Now that is blinking. That means it is not to temperature yet. So because it's steam, it needs to heat that water up a little bit hotter. And when that stops blinking, then we are ready to froth some milk. So that just turned off. So let me remove my cup. You are going to need a metal pitcher in order to foam your milk. So let me get some milk. You can use whole milk. You can use 2%, 1% skim milk. Whole milk is probably going to give you the best froth, and I'm going to fill it about halfway. Next thing we're going to do is we're going to insert the tip into the milk and turn this on. So the idea here is to get the milk to swirl around in a circle, and that's going to heat the milk. We want it to get to about 145 degrees ideally. If you don't have a thermometer to measure that, basically when you can no longer hold the metal pitcher, that means it's probably hot enough and you can stop frothing. Now as we start to get a little volume here due to the microbubbles forming, we want to slowly bring the tip up to just below the surface of the milk. So you do that by lowering the pitcher. You should see the volume increasing. You don't want to get the tip so it's gurgling. That means you've got the tip out too far. So if that starts to gurgle, that's going to cause you to get large bubbles. You just need to raise your pitcher a little bit. All right, so this is getting pretty hot to the touch. Let me turn this off. Now normally you want to immediately you want to wipe this off so the milk doesn't get stuck on there, and I usually put a little steam through there just to clean the tip as well. So just get all the milk off your steaming wand, and you want to do that right away. You don't want to wait. Now we've got some froth and warmed milk in here. I usually tap it a little bit to get the larger bubbles broken, and you can swirl it. If you want to try your hand at latte art, make sure that you have a nice foam in there. Otherwise, I just want some warm milk in here, so I'm just going to pour it into my cup. And that is it. I have a wonderful Americano. Actually, technically, it's not an Americano anymore because I added milk to it. So when you're all done making your coffee, then the next thing you want to do is remove the portafilter from the machine. Hopefully there isn't a lot of water floating on the top. It should be sort of almost kind of dry. It'll be damp, but it shouldn't be swimming in water. If it is, that means you've got a grind issue that you have to investigate. So we're going to dump this coffee grounds out and also get a cloth. You want to wipe the coffee grounds off the machine itself, and that'll just ensure the clean operation of your machine. Again, this is a warming tray up here, so if you wanted to keep your cups up here, if you're making several drinks in a row, that'll keep your cups a little bit warm. And actually, a little pro tip here is you can actually put, you turn the steam off and you're just going to get hot water. You can pre-warm your cups right before you make your espresso, and that way the espresso is going to go into a nice hot cup and it won't cool your espresso down. So that's about it, guys. This is the wirsh espresso machine. I think it's really great. It's very easy to operate. You don't really, sort of semi-automatic, because when you push either the single or the double espresso button, it has got a flow control in there. So once it has produced the proper amount of espresso, it turns off the pump. You don't have to manually turn it off. So that makes it almost foolproof. If you have any questions, please leave me a comment down below. I'd be happy to answer them if I can. Thanks a lot for watching, guys. I love coffee, and I hope you do too. We'll see you the next time. Bye.